Good afternoon. My name is Todd Whiteley. I have the pleasure of being the Troop 6201 and 201 Committee Chairman, and I'd like to welcome you this afternoon. Today we honor 3 Scouts from Troop 201 and 1 from 6201 for attaining the highest rank in Scouting, the rank of Eagle Scout. This is a great achievement worthy of celebration. At this time, on behalf of Scouting America, I hereby convene this Court of Honor for the purpose of presenting the Eagle Scout Award to Timmy Holmes, Chase Mulligan, Isabella Vaccaro, and Victor Vaccaro. Colby Jarvis, current Troop 201 Senior Patrol Leader, will present the colors this afternoon.
Please stand for the presentation of the colors. When asked to salute, it is appropriate for all in uniform to salute and for others not in uniform to place your right hand over your heart. Color guard, advance. Scout salute. Color guard, prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Would all Scouts and Scouters please join me in the Scout Oath and Law? First, the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Next, please also join me in the Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Color guard, return to post. Audience, please be seated.
Sydney Whiteley will now lead our invocation.
Please bow your heads and join me in prayer. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you this day, thanking you for your many blessings. Lord, we ask you to join us in this celebration of Timmy, Chase, Isabella, and Victor for attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Use this ceremony, Lord, to inspire visions and to encourage our troops to follow in the Eagle path. Help us give both praise and honor, and to also realize that becoming an Eagle Scout is not so much a destination, but a way of life. Amen.
We have today a special individual, Roger Porter, who's been active as an adult leader with the troop for a long time. Roger has helped many an Eagle Scout cross the finish line and knows what it's like to raise an Eagle Scout. An Eagle himself, Roger is also the proud father of 2 Eagle Scouts, one of whom was the first female Eagle Scout from Troop 6201, our linked female troop. Today he will lead us with a poem.
The Eagle Scout. The Scouts gave you a challenge, and you've met it faithfully, my friends. But it's quite hard to understand just what it all will mean in the end. An Eagle Scout, you've reached the top, or have you only just begun? Think on that one. I am betting that you will not stop with so much glory to be won. For life holds out a challenge too, a mountain high for you to scale. And with the training Scouts gave you, there's really no such word as fail. And so as you press on ahead, you'll find it's made much work like play. And as the task before you spread, they'll find you ready, so I'll say. Congratulations, Eagle Scouts. The world before you now is spread. Scouts taught you so much what life's about, prepared you well for what's ahead. So congratulations, the 4 of you. I would say welcome to the fraternity, but I can't say that nowadays, can I? Can I say, I can't say sorority. Welcome to the clan.
Becoming an Eagle Scout is a journey, not a destination. Through the scouting experience and advancement of ranks, a scout learns new skills, provides leadership, gives to the community, teaches others, and develops character. The merit badges they earn and the leadership they provide create a unique experience of personal growth and development. Although the basic requirements to attain the rank of Eagle Scout are similar, each individual's journey to Eagle is truly their own. Each of these scouts has had many adults help them along their path to Eagle. Some have taught them scouting skills. Some have actively taught them how to lead. Some have modeled for them how to have healthy relationships with other scouts, with their families, and with God. Each of our Eagle Scouts has asked an adult to speak today who's played an important role in the last 7 years of their lives. First is Joe Mulligan speaking for Timmy Holmes.
You guys hear me? Ladies and gentlemen, Scouts and Scouters, Timmy Holmes. If you've camped with us since 2020, you know Timmy Holmes. But if you don't, let me give you a little background. So Timmy started a scouting journey back in 2020 when he came to a meeting as guest of a scout, requirement for, I believe it's first or second class. And that scout being Victor Vaquero up the front here, one of the Eagles on the stage today. I believe it took one meeting and Timmy was in and officially joined the troop. Timmy hadn't crossed over from a Cub pack. He just joined straight away and dove right into the deep end. Timmy became part of the now notorious Jedi Patrol, for those leaders who are here with us today. They had just come out of a rough patch of storming and norming, as I guess would have been second years, and broke out on the other side just in time for Timmy to be a Jedi. Timmy's held many leadership positions within the patrol and the troop. His most memorable leadership position was quartermaster for the troop. He was schooled by the great Josh Mauer, a legend in the quartermaster community. Josh took him under his wing, and Timmy never left the trailer, and I do mean never. Even when he would train new quartermasters, he stayed close by, making sure all supplies were offloaded, only to come out when things were dire or we were light on campers. He always made sure we had a shopping list for the next camp out and that the adult stuff was on the trailer. Timmy belonged to both honor camping societies. He's a Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow, and he's a warrior shock timber wolf in the tribe of Mickasay. During his time with the troop, Timmy earned 25 merit badges for a sash. He also accumulated many nights of long-term camping and many summer camps, as well as high adventure. For Timmy's project, he designed, improved, and rebuilt new doors for a shed area at the Ernie Miller Nature Center in Olathe. This area is used to protect materials in a stage area that's used by Nature Center for both young educational programs and summer camps. Timmy had also been at Philmont and liked it so much that he staffed there this year and literally came home Friday. So he's, as you say, he came in hot for the ceremony. So one of the things about Timmy, he is no stranger to the Health Lodge. So for me as a scoutmaster, most trips to the Health Lodge start out in the middle of the night with the scout coming to you, flashlight in your face, waking you up, beads of sweat on their forehead, telling me that a tick has embedded itself in some point south of the border. I'd send them back to their tent with a pair of tweezers, long enough for me to get my shoes on, get another adult leader for 2 deep, and they'd be back with more sweat, telling you that they can't get it. Some are in tears, but not Timmy. No, not Timmy. Timmy's first year at Bartle, he pulled a let's slide across the old rickety wooden bench trick. Needless to say, it resulted in a 3-inch sliver and what we paratroopers call his fourth point of contact, and ripped a pair of shorts. He was really worried about his mom knowing that he ripped his shorts. So Timmy calls her and lets her know that he's going to the Health Lodge. Usually that's the scoutmaster that calls the parents, not Timmy. So James Drode and I loaded him in the truck, and off to Health Lodge we went, where a minor surgery was performed. And there we have it. Later, a few days later, and I do mean a few days later, we had what Camp Bartle 2021 referred to as the lightning strike. I'd share the video, but it's not Scott appropriate. 4 Jedi were in their tents. 3 of them are here. When a shower started, it was just a rain shower. Pretty good gully washer. And then we started to get some flooding. So Rick Petty, who's in the audience, was filming it so he could send it to the rest of the troops who were over at Nash. I think Doug was running camp over at Nash that summer. James and I were on the pavilion. And I was getting ready to walk over to tell the kids, come on up, because it was raining pretty hard, when lightning struck an 80-foot oak tree about 15 feet from the kids. Timmy was knocked off his chair, covered in bark. It smelled like a sawmill. Anyway, this was almost a trip to the Health Lodge. Fast forward 2021. That year we did a trek to Colorado, 4 scouts. Again, 3 are up on the stage and 3 adults. And that morning, Jane dropped him off at the McDonald's just down the street here. And she looked at me and said, please bring my son home in one piece. So like in a millisecond, that mind's eye thing, I see Timmy getting eaten by a mountain lion, a bear, bitten by a rattlesnake, falling down a ravine, and then, of course, dysentery from drinking water that the beavers do their business in. All of that in a millisecond. I looked at Jane and said, it's going to be okay. We'll get him back in one piece. We drove for 10 hours. That's all I thought about. And then I prayed for 6 days that none of it happened till we got him back. Timmy's final push to Eagle consisted of a mad dash on a merit badge completion and the dreaded Eagle project. No one ever knows if a scout will make it. Only they do. It's something we cannot do for them, only to help them along the way, pushing where we can. I know he gave Mr. Jarvis and Mr. Harvey a few gray hairs in the last few weeks. Timmy, I wish you the best on your journey. And wherever it takes you, wherever that brings you, I hope that scouting has provided you with the life skills and fun that you'll remember for the rest of your days. Timmy Holmes, you are the last Jedi. To make it to Eagle, that is. Godspeed. A scout is prepared.
Thank you, Joe. We'll now have Alex Fagan speak on behalf of Chase Mulligan.
First, I want to say it's hard for me to talk about just one of you. So that's a bit of a challenge for me, but I'm going to do my best. But before I do that, I kind of want to talk to all of you. Start with Isabella. You should be, and I'm sure you are, very proud of what you've accomplished. I would have loved to see scouts accept young women into our program earlier than we did. I'm glad we did when we did. I didn't have the opportunity to get to know you as well as some of the other guys that are sitting up here. But you should be very proud of what you've done, and congratulations on becoming an Eagle Scout. Now, for the rest of you, I felt myself almost tearing up as I was looking at some of the pictures up here, because the time that we spent together backpacking in Colorado, backpacking in the Buffalo Peaks Wilderness, climbing, it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. And I really enjoyed watching all of you. I mean, I didn't doubt that any of you were going to be able to do it. I knew you would. I knew that you were ready for it. But I really enjoyed watching all of you kind of experiencing many of those things for the first time, and seeing, great views from high vistas that you've maybe never seen before, and facing challenges, some unexpected, and dealing with them very well. It was like I said, it was one of my favorite things I've ever done, was going on that trek with y'all. Some of my favorite moments from that, I was just going to talk about a few of them because they were pretty special. Some of them were special for different reasons. So some of them were just hard, and it's the hard things in life that really teach you the lessons you need to learn, right? So we thought we were ready for this trek, but when you're carrying a 35-pound pack or 40-pound pack, whatever it was, and you're hiking up a really steep incline and it never ends, you find out what you're made of, and you find out what your buddy's made of. We had a few of those, climbing up to our camp after being in the wilderness for a while. I think it was day 3 or something like that, climbing up to our campsite on the saddle before we did our summits of Buffalo Peak. That was a tough climb. I remember it well, and y'all handled it really well. The other tough climb I remember was climbing up to it turned out to be a beautiful campsite on the Black Cloud Trail heading up to Elbert. But getting there was tough, especially after we'd just come out of Buffalo Peaks Wilderness and everybody was kind of tired. We were kind of, in some ways, done with it by then. And that was a tough climb. In fact, I was reminded after I got here that the guys thought about making little buttons that said, "I don't like Mr. Fagan as much as I used to," or something like that. I don't know if they ever did. But there were several moments during our treks that it would have been appropriate to wear something like that. Crossing the beaver swamp. I think I earlier saw a picture, I think, of the beaver swamp up here. So the trail, you look at the maps and the trail goes where it goes and you kind of map out your route and it all looks really simple. So you can see on the maps kind of the topography changes. So you know where you're going to have to do more climbing, even though it's a lot harder in real life than it is looking at a map. But there are other things you don't see necessarily on a map. So there's this beautiful valley just north of Buffalo Peaks East and West that the trail crosses. And then you head back down and then we eventually head back to the trailhead where we started. But the map doesn't show you that beavers have dammed up that creek that runs through the valley in a whole bunch of different places. And it's basically a big half-mile wide swamp with lots of lakes in the middle of it. And so crossing that was a bit of a challenge. I don't think any of us got through it without getting feet pretty well muddy and wet. And there was one point where we just had to jump from one muddy spot across to another muddy spot across an open patch of water carrying our packs. I think I was one of the first ones across because I wanted to get a picture of one of you falling in, but no one would oblige me. They all managed to get across without falling in. That was a lot of fun. One other, there were lots of little moments that I enjoyed from that trek, but one other fun one was being near the summit of Elbert and watching you guys have a snowball fight. You don't get to do that in the middle of the summer very often. So I should probably focus on Chase a little bit here. Chase, you asked me to talk about you. Just as with the whole group, I never doubted that you would be fine out in the wilderness. I could tell from the way we were preparing that you were going to be ready for it, and you didn't disappoint me. Chase was often up at the front of the pack. I don't remember him ever complaining. Now, maybe his dad remembers him complaining. I don't know, but I don't. There were a lot of, when you go backpacking, there are a lot of miserable moments, and you kind of have to go into it expecting that, and that's just part of the fun. In Scouts, I don't know if you still do, we would call it type 2 fun. So it's the fun you can tell stories about later, but maybe not fun while it's happening. I don't remember Chase complaining at all. It was fun watching you specifically as you were kind of, oh, this is new, this is different, this is harder than maybe I thought it would be, and then growing as you went along and even leading the way, and that was a lot of fun to watch. Like I said, I don't remember you complaining. I remember you smiling a lot and just kind of soaking it all in, and enjoying the ride. So that was pretty cool. Chase and I talked a lot, or not a lot. We talked off and on, probably even, I think starting even then, but then from then and after, about whether he wanted to be an Eagle Scout. Yeah, he wanted to be an Eagle Scout. What's that going to look like? Have you thought about a project? What do you have left to do? Eventually he did ask me to coach him for his Eagle process and Eagle project. You've probably read a little bit about it in the program, but I was very proud of what he chose to do. He is fairly challenging engineering project. If y'all aren't familiar with the bridge that he built for the, what's the name of the place? The Prairie Elder Care Center. I just know that it's next to the airport on 151st. So every time I drive by there, I'm probably going to cause an accident someday because I like to look at both of those Eagle projects that are over there. I like to look and see what they look like. It's a little grown up around your bridge now, but it was. I appreciate somebody who will put a scout who will put that much effort into an Eagle project and will think about what can I build that's going to last, and it will take some effort to do. And I thought it was a pretty cool project. I like what you did there, and I like that I can drive by and see it, and that the people there can get a lot of value out of it, and I'm sure will for many, many years to come. Most recently, it's fun watching these guys grow up. So my most recent big interaction with Chase was probably just, the other one would be in the merit badge course that I got to teach. So citizenship in the world. And it says something about a guy when he's engaged the whole time, maybe because he knew the teacher and so he knew he'd better stay engaged. But I don't think that was it. I think he's the kind of guy who will be engaged, who will be thoughtful, who will ask the right kinds of questions, who will contribute. And I appreciated that about him. For those of you in the troop, I know that, I mean, you can read about it in here. He's had a lot of leadership roles, and he's had a lot of impact on the troop, especially as I'm sure as senior patrol leader. But this troop is better because you were a part of it. And I think that going forward, I would expect that of other organizations that you're a part of, because that's the kind of guy you are. You're going to make a difference, and they'll be better because you were there. There's a lot of craziness and uncertainty about, the world that you enter as an adult, and going to college and thinking about a career and all that. It's a crazy world we live in. You're going to face a lot of challenges going forward. What I would say to you is, well, first of all, I think you're ready. But if you continue to be trustworthy and loyal and helpful and friendly and kind and courteous and all those things that are part of what we try to be as scouts, you're going to do fine. So congratulations, Eagle Scout. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Alex. We'll now have Joy Wright speak for Isabella Vaccaro.
I am very honored that Isabella asked me to be a speaker at her Eagles Court of Honor. Our journey together is far more than I can express in words. We have most definitely had an amazing scouting journey together. We have learned so much. Along with learning comes some potentially embarrassing stories, but we've learned to laugh at ourselves and not be afraid to ask for help. The first camp out we had together was Ha Ha Tonka in the Ozarks. As we know, the Ozarks roads are very hilly and lots of twists and turns. She didn't get completely sick until we arrived at the camp out site, safe and sound, but it was then I decided that she was henceforth and forevermore my shotgun rider. This led to many wonderful conversations that I wouldn't trade for the world. Driving to campouts, this girl has insight and opinions that she is ready to share to make the world a better place. She faces problems with solutions and goals. So back to the Ozarks. It was a lovely snowy campout at Ha Ha Tonka, one where you may want to bring extra cold weather gear. And yes, it was there that we learned to ask for help from the right people. Holly always has extra cold weather gear, but if you don't ask, we don't know that you need it. She redeemed herself, though, at Trappers. She was very prepared for Trappers from there on out. And of course, Bartle holds many a memory and meaningful moments. A favorite of mine was watching Isabella's face as they read The Night Before Call Night at dinner. Her eyes got big and she said to me, "They're talking about us." The excitement of what we were about to do and go through was terrifying and glorious. She earned her brave the year I earned my honorary woman warrior. She went on to become the first warrior from 6201, pioneering the way for 2 more warriors this year. And she is truly a warrior, stubborn blue swallowtail. Not only because she loves butterflies, but because she's stubborn in a very good way. The origin of the word stubborn is untamable, relentless, and unstoppable. She is unstoppable when it comes to defending justice and truth. I've seen this girl set goals and exceed them by far, overcoming a fear of heights by climbing higher than she ever thought she could with the promise of a second dessert. She was a successful senior patrol leader, even though she wasn't sure she wanted to. Even participated in national youth leadership training. She learned to delegate and teach others, even when sometimes it's easier to just do it yourself. Isabella has played a huge part in the lives of many in the Troops 201 and 6201, including mine. From recruiting at Weeblo Walkabout, taking part in wreaths across America, welcoming new scouts at crossovers, leading by example. Isabella was the first in Troop 6201 to go on a high adventure camp, canoeing at Northern Tier, and she showed me lots of beautiful sunset pictures that were awesome. We overcame fears together and had so much fun camping with much laughter and stories. You know, the best hilarious conversations are between tents in the evening. And you will always be my stubborn blue swallowtail. Congrats to Isabella for advancing to Eagle. We are so proud of you and looking forward to what you conquer next.
Thank you, Joy. We'll now ask Joe Mulligan to speak for Victor Vaccaro.
You didn't think I'd be up here the second time, did you? Victor Vaccaro, what can I say? Probably one of the most squared away scouts I've ever known. I mean, there's squared away scouts and then there's squared away scouts, and Victor is the latter, right? Victor started his scouting journey back in 2013 when he joined the Cub Pack 3316. He loved all things Cubbies do: Pinewood Derby, Rain Gutter Regalia, Bear and Weeblo's camps. They crossed over the troop in 2017, where he was one of the first two new first year scouts at the time. The patrol grew in early 2018 and became the Jedi we know today. Interestingly, there was no patrol between them and the third year Norwals. We didn't have a troop that crossed over, or a patrol that crossed over at that time. And I mentioned earlier the Jedi had a rough go getting a place where they could work together, and I believe Victor may have been the first patrol leader of the Jedi, a role eventually no one wanted to have. Victor always took the high road and did more than his share for the patrol and the troop. He belongs to both honor camping societies, Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow. He's a warrior and earned paying as fire builder in the tribe of Mikasay. He took Tall Lightning Oak as his tribal name. I'll bet nobody in here can tell me where that came from, as he was one of the other lightning strike candidates that day. Victor attended NYLT in 2022. He's done high adventure treks in Colorado in 21 and Philmont in 24, along with 5 summer camps, Nash and Bartle. During his time with the troop, Victor earned 39 merit badges for his sash. He's earned many positions, he's held many leadership positions in the troop. His most memorable was senior patrol leader. He was SPL when I was Scoutmaster and the second Jedi to serve in that role. You know, as the SPL, you're in charge, right? Us adults really aren't. You're supposed to be one running the troop and the troop meetings. Troop meetings can be stressful for an SPL. They got to be organized, and they got to be at the meetings, and they got to get the first years under control, all of which is very stressful. I'll say Victor was organized most of the time, though we usually were about 5 minutes late starting every meeting. But other than that, it was a good time, you know, waiting on the SPL to get there. Campouts were the second most stressful, I think. You know, getting set up on a Friday night in the dark, while first and second years challenge even the most seasoned SPL. Victor always kept the work productive, all the while trying to teach the first and second years the priority setting up a campsite in the dark with a flashlight. I've spent a lot of time with the Jedi Scouts while I was ASM and Scoutmaster, many summer camps and weekend campouts. It was a struggle to pick a single special memory, so I picked two. The first was the trip to Colorado. I think Alex has hit it right on the head. That was probably one of the funnest things I've ever done with the Scouts. We had a great time. Watching him cook Mountain House meals every night. I think there's a picture of him up there, Jim, and one in right there, right? We lived on those. Or just watching them enjoy the views. I remember we were hiking. It was a Buffalo Wilderness Peaks area. We were heading up, I think, to where we were going to camp that day. And we had a herd of elk come down the path right at us. So they're about 30 animals, 600 pounds apiece. And they came within 15 yards of us. It's closer than that back door back there. And I looked back, and Victor was right behind me, and his eyes were like saucers. Because they just swarmed up on us, right? And then, again, within spitting distance, then in a blink, all 30 of them were gone. It was like you could hear the ground was rumbling underneath them. It was pretty cool. And we had many, many things like that happened with us on that trip. We ran across a mountain lion track on the way back down. We haven't got a picture of that. We don't know when that happened, but we sure don't want to know what happened when we were there. He was pushing us on as we summited Buffalo Peaks at 13 or Mount Alpert at 14.4. He was upbeat, laughing, joking, keeping us all in a good mood even when we were smoked. And we were smoked a couple of times on that trek. The other special memories were the canoeing and kayaking campouts. Usually the first camp out in the new season in August, we did the water activities. And Victor and the rest of the Jedi were usually boated together. We're paddling off before you get anybody else in the water, working on their canoeing merit badge, practicing their paddle strokes. Fun times indeed. Like most, Victor's push to Eagle was a combination of Eagle required merit badges down to the wire and the project. But for Victor's project, he designed and constructed 7 large wooden garden boxes for the Lone Elm Community Garden, and we filled those gardens with those boxes with compost. And I was there personally to attend that one. It was really organized, planned out, easy to execute. I'm sure that was attributed to Victor's planning and design. For goodness sake, he's going to be an engineer, right? Finding a spicy story, though, about Victor was very hard to do. I searched around and I couldn't find any. I thought he was part of the jailbreak at the Omaha Zoo camp out, but come to find out he wasn't on that one. I was so disappointed when I looked at the attendance that I didn't have on there. So I thought I had one. We had a jailbreak that camp out. A couple of them left the reservation, as they say, to go to the shopette or quick trip across 4 lanes of highway while the adults are sleeping. That's always a lovely thing for the Scoutmaster to find out the next morning. But he wasn't part of that one. Victor, you were the first of the Jedi to make it to Eagle. So Godspeed. Scout is prepared.
Thank you, Joe. I'd now like to invite Doug McAmer, former Scoutmaster of both Troop 201 and 6201, to do the Eagle Charge.
Congratulations to all 4 of you, and hope you look forward to your lives down the road here and remember everything we tried to tell you what to do. Okay? So there's a lot of things about being an Eagle Scout that you may not really have realized yet, but the appeal of the majestic eagle has been felt by individuals from prehistoric times to the present day. The Egyptians, eagle was a messenger to the gods and the sun and a symbol of eternal life. To the Romans, it was carrier of the Jupiter's thunderbolts and a sign of power. To the American Indians, it stood as the incentive to valor and the pledge to victory. For us today, the eagle is a living symbol of courageous and freedom-aspiring Americans. When the badge of rank for Eagle Scouts was designed in 1912, a small silver eagle was suspended from a tricolor ribbon of red, white, and blue. It remains so today. To me, Chase, Isabella, and Victor, the foremost responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. To an Eagle Scout, honor is the foundation of character. They know that a scout is trustworthy is the first point of the scout law for a good reason. May the white of the eagle badge remind you always to live with honor. The second responsibility of the Eagle Scout is loyalty. The scout is true to their family, leaders, friends, school, and nation. May the blue of the eagle badge always inspire your loyalty. The third responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage is a quality by which they measure themselves and others. To a scout, bravery means not only the courage to face the physical danger, but the determination to stand up for their rights. May the red of the eagle badge always remind you of courage. The fourth responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to be cheerful. To remind the Eagle Scout to always wear a smile, the red, white, and blue ribbon is attached to the scroll of the Second Class Scout Award, which has its ends turned up in a smile. The final responsibility of an Eagle Scout is service. The Eagle extends a helping hand to those who still toil up Scouting's trail, just as others have helped them in their climb to Eagle. The performance of the Daily Good Turn takes on a new meaning when they enter an adult life of continuing service to others. The Eagle stands as a protector of the weak and helpless. They aid and comfort the unfortunate and the oppressed. They uphold the rights of others while defending their own. They are always prepared to put forth their best. You deserve much credit, and having achieved Scout's highest rank, wear your award with humility, ever mindful that the Eagle Scout is looked up to as an example. May the Scout Oath and Scout Law be your guide for tomorrow and onward. Congratulations on your outstanding achievement.
There's a saying, once an eagle, always an eagle. Eagle Scouts are expected to live up to the standards of the Eagle Scout for the rest of their lives. And thus, it is only fitting we should also recognize other Eagle Scouts that are here today. If you're an Eagle Scout, we'd like to take a minute to recognize you. I'll ask all Eagle Scouts in attendance today to please rise. Let's give them a round of applause. I'm going to ask you guys to remain standing, and in a minute, we'll all do the Eagle Pledge together with our new Eagle Scouts. Timmy, Chase, Isabella, and Victor, earlier in the ceremony, you joined with your fellow Scouts in repeating the Scout Oath. Now you will stand as part of this small, select group and repeat a new oath, the Eagle Scout Pledge. Though the words you say are like those you've read so many times before, today it will mean more to you than they ever have. When you pledge yourself on your sacred honor, you'll be sealing your oath with the words which closed the Declaration of Independence. Please rise. Let's make the Scout sign. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example, my rank and my influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship in my troop, in my community, and in my contacts with other people. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. 2. Before the Eagle Scouts in the audience are seated, let's take a moment and give them one more round of applause. Okay, everybody please be seated. I'd now like to introduce Troop 6201 and 201 Scoutmasters Holly Duff and Michael Harvey to present the Eagle Awards.
We're now at the time that these young scouts have been looking forward to since the day they joined Cub Scouts many years ago. The presentation of the Eagle Certificate, Eagle Medal, and the Eagle Neckerchief. Scouts, your conduct along the trail to Eagle has been excellent, but now your future in scouting has become even more important. As an Eagle, you become a guiding light to all other scouts. Your actions are now more conspicuous and people will expect more of you. To falter in your duties would reflect not only on each of you, but all of your fellow Eagles. The torch you each carry is not only yours, but that of all Eagles. Along the path to Eagle, you've had the support and help of many adult leaders. I'm here as a representative of your leaders in presenting you with the Eagle Award. Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Isabella Josephine McCarr.
Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Timothy Michael Holmes. The Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Chase Nelson Mulligan. The Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Victor Carl Peter Farrell III. Your family has been your primary source of help and strength. They will continue to help you grow in the qualities of leadership and citizenship that a true Eagle must have. Your father will have the honor of presenting you with your scarves, and your mother will likewise be honored in presenting you with the Eagle Medal. The miniature Eagle pin is for you to present to your mother and will be pinned over her heart in recognition of the love, encouragement, faith, and trust she has in you. I know each of your fathers, and they have each stood by you and been a source of advice and guidance along the Eagle Trail. They have been constant support and have taught you many important lessons. The Eagle's father pin is a symbol of recognition given to the father of the Eagle Scout as a symbol of your gratitude. He will wear it with pride and as the symbol of thankfulness toward all the volunteer and professional scouters that have guided you along the trail to Eagle. Isabella, at this time, please join your family for the presentation of scarves, medals, and pins.
We're going to first remove the Scout's old neckerchief. Scout, turn and face your mom. Dad, please hold on to the back of the neckerchief. Mom, remove the slide completely off the old neckerchief. Dad, please pull the old neckerchief straight back, removing it from your scout's neck. We're now going to replace the eagle neckerchief. Scout, please face your dad. Dad, please place the new neckerchief over your scout's head. Mom, please straighten out the neckerchief from the rear, and Dad, tighten up the slide. We're now going to place the eagle medal and parents' pins. Scout, please turn and face your mom and give her your eagle medal. Mom, please place the eagle medal on your scout's left breast pocket. Scout, please place the mom's pin on your mom. Scout, please turn and face your dad and place the pin on his left breast pocket. Okay, we'll ask Isabella to be seated, and we'll bring up Timmy and Chase and Victor with their parents. We're going to remove the Scout's old neckerchief. Scout, turn and face your mom. Dad, please hold on to the back of the neckerchief. Mom, remove the slide completely off the old neckerchief. And Dad, please pull the old neckerchief straight back, removing it from your Scout's neck. We're now going to place the eagle neckerchief. Scout, please face your dad. Dad, please place the new neckerchief over your Scout's head. Mom, please straighten out the neckerchief from the rear, and Dad, tighten up the slide. We're now going to place the eagle medal and parents' pins. Scout, please turn and face your mom and give her your eagle medal. Mom, please place the eagle medal on your Scout's left breast pocket. Scout, please place the mom's pin on your mom. Scouts, please turn and face your dad. Please place the pin on his left breast pocket. Gives me great pleasure to present Eagle Scouts Timmy Holmes, Chase Mulligan, Isabella Vaccaro, and Victor Vaccaro. We're going to take a few pictures now. The Scouts each have mentor pins they may give to acknowledge individuals who have influenced them along their journey to Eagle. Some may do in private, and others may do so today, and all four have decided to do that today. So let's start with Timmy.
I'd like to start with Mr. Harvey. Would you come up here? And I can get it out of my pocket. And I'd like to have Mr. McAmer please come up to the stage. I could also get it out of my pocket. Thank you so much.
Chase Mulligan.
Can Jay Jackson come up? Yeah.
Isabella?
I would first like to call up Mr. McNamara, please. Just want to say a quick thank you for all of the rank advancements you've helped with and all of your dedication to both troops. Next, I'd like to call up Miss Hawley, please. Thank you for always making me laugh. And lastly, but not least, Miss Joy. I've really enjoyed all of the car rides we would have to the monthly campouts, and thank you for all of your dedication to the troop. That'll be all.
I'll make it quick, I promise. I'd like to call my 3 former Scoutmasters up, Mr. Fagan, Mr. Mulligan, and Mr. Jarvis. I would also like to call up Mr. McNamara and Mr. Porter. Thank you, Mr. Porter. Good job. Thank you.
I would like to invite Carrie Mulligan, the Troop Eagle Coordinator, to come up and talk about the troop awards and gifts.
You've heard a lot of people talk today, but I have the best job because I get to reward them for all their hard work. So in recognition of these young scouts' completion of the rank of Eagle Scout, Troop 201 and Troop 6201 is pleased to present each scout with the following gifts and awards. First, the gifts that you just saw them receive: the framed Eagle Scout certificate, the Eagle Scout neckerchief and slide, and a presentation kit, which you can see on the table up here, that contains the Eagle pin and patch, as well as the parent and the mentor pins. In addition, each new scout will receive, you can kind of see them off to the side here, there's one in the center. They get a flag that's flown over the United States Capitol in their name in recognition of their attainment of the rank of Eagle Scout. In addition, they also get a scrapbook that contains congratulatory letters from presidents, senators, members of Congress, governors, mayors, all the good people that wish them well. So you can see these gifts on the table up here, and also they'll be on the table in the back where you can see their poster boards. So on behalf of Troop 201 and 6201, please accept these gifts as well as my heartfelt congratulations on the attainment of the rank of Eagle Scout.
I'd like to recognize and thank Carrie Mulligan for all her hard work preparing these gifts and several years on this job. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Doug McNamara, former Scoutmaster for both of our troops, to come up and share a unique troop tradition.
We have kind of an interesting troop tradition in this troop that I don't know that's of any place else I've heard of, at least in our council. In 1971, I got my Eagle Scout badge, and my dad was a jeweler. And so he thought it was appropriate to get a really nifty eagle ring. Probably we never seen one like mine because they don't make them that way anymore. If you've ever been over to the scout shop, there is some rings over there. They're just kind of a basic signal ring, and but mine's actually more of a college design. In 2004, when I became Scoutmaster for Troop 201, I really thought hard about what can I do for the Eagle Scouts as they get done. And so the first Eagle Scout I had was named David Hetro. You can see his name on the Eagle plaques we have out here in the hallway. And my son, my oldest son, Justin, had just gotten his Eagle Scout about a month or so prior to when I took over. And so he kind of got to wear my ring kind of off the slide, but David was the first one to wear that. And kind of the tradition is that when they get their Eagle Scout, they get the opportunity to wear my ring for a day, which is that right there. And then they bring it back to me. When we get a lot of Scouts like this, we got 4, we've had as many as 9 before in one whack. And it's taken as long as a month and a half to get my ring back, but I've gotten it back all the time, which kind of attributes to the trustworthiness of all of our Scouts. The only reason it took a month and a half is one Scout forgot about it and put on his mantle above the fireplace, and there it sat. And I didn't think about it until somebody asked when we were on our way to Northern Tier, "Did you ever get your ring back?" And I go, "I don't think so." So I had to call, and sure enough, it's still sitting on the mantle, so I got it when I got back. But it's always been pretty close. Now, it's kind of interesting this time because all these kids are all going off to college. Like Timmy came back Friday and is going to be heading out on Monday. And so the rest of them within 10 days are all going to be at college. So you got to kind of have a quick run through. I'm going to Germany on Saturday, so it's we're going to be done by Friday here. So anyway, it'll be pretty cool. So I'm going to start with just by an alphabet. It just worked out because the way that they're leaving is in the order that they're alphabetical here for Timmy, and then Chase and Isabella and Victor. So they'll kind of hand it off to one another. I try not to get involved. I just hope that it all comes back, and the one guy at the end is the one that brings it back to me. So anyway.
Thank you, Doug. And now, this part could be comical. We're going to give our new Eagle Scouts an opportunity to speak. First up's Timmy.
All right. You guys hear me good? I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for being here today on behalf of not only myself, but the friends that have been here with me since the beginning of my journey, which started later than theirs, but it started. When I first attended the meeting, I was invited by Victor to attend a camp out, planning night for the yearly Snow Creek Skiing Merit Badge Camp out. And I'd already knew how to ski, and Victor all through elementary school would always tell me how he couldn't hang out and how cool these Boy Scout campouts were, and I was like, okay, you know what? Why not? I'll come check it out. Sure. And I was soon, they aren't here today, but I was quickly greeted by Jacob Drone and Dane Christensen, and I instantly felt welcomed by these hardy crew of older Scouts. And and I just felt like this was a place I was going to belong. Soon after that, I officially joined the troop and quickly climbed the ladder as fast as I could, as fast as I could keep up so I could catch up to my buddies. And in the Jedi Patrol, in just about 5 days, over a year, I progressed from the rank of Scout to first class and ended up only being a rank behind my friends Victor and Chase, with about 2 years behind of disadvantage. Bums. I'd like to thank the adult leaders of 201 that helped me become the leader I am today and will continue to become. Of course, I'd like to thank Mr. Mulligan for being there since the beginning, and Mr. Jarvis for being there in the end, and Mr. McNamara, who will probably be here forever. And of course, he's not here today, but I'd like to thank Mr. Drone on behalf of the entire Jedi Ninja Rubik's Patrol for providing rides to everyone to every camp out, and I probably wouldn't have been able to become even second class if he was not able to take me to almost every first camp out. Of course, I'd like to thank my family for supporting my entire scouting journey and funding my trips to High Adventure, which those were the best times of my life, and I will always remember those deeply in my heart. And thank them for the ability to be able to access all these great opportunities and skills that the BSA has given me. I'd like to give special thanks to Mr. Harvey for enlightening us about the wonders that Philmont Scout Ranch would bring to all of our crew of 706-9 Alpha of Troop 201. If it were not for Mr. Harvey having the dream to go back to Philmont Scout Ranch, I would not have had the opportunity to staff on that beautiful reservation this summer and make the best summer and friendships that I will have that will last a lifetime. For those of us in the crowd that alongside me climbed Mount Baldy in the summer of 2024, I'd like to think back to how hard the final quarter of that summit was. It was hard. And how we were all probably thinking, I can't finish this, it's too hot, the sun is too bright, and Jace smells way too bad. But with the help of each other, we were all able to summit and complete the rest of our trek. And while I was on that peak, I thought of Baldy as a metaphor to my scouting career and how I was able to make that final push alongside my buddies and be an Eagle Scout. Thank you.
Thanks, Timmy. Chase?
First, I want to thank all of you again for coming today. Earning the rank of Eagle Scout has been one of the greatest challenges and accomplishments of my life so far, and I couldn't have done it alone. To my family, thank you for supporting me from my very first Cub Scout meeting all the way to today. You've encouraged me when things got hard, reminded me to keep going when I felt stuck, and believed in me even when I doubted myself. To my fellow Scouts, you've been my teammates and my friends. Together we've hiked, camped, gotten rained on, gotten lost, ate bad food, but we still found our way. You've taught me the value of trust, teamwork, and a mediocre sense of humor when things didn't go as planned. To my Scout leaders and mentors, thank you for showing me what leadership really looks like. You didn't just teach me skills, you showed me how to live by the Scout Oath and Law every day, and to aim higher than I ever thought I could. Scouting has shaped how I live my life. Being trustworthy, loyal, helpful, and all the other values in the Scout Law aren't just things I've memorized. They've become habits I try to carry into school, work, and anything else I could encounter. The lessons I've learned here about service and leading by example will stay with me long after I take off this uniform. Today is not the end of my journey to Eagle. It's a reminder of the responsibility that comes with it to keep living these values and to give back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chase. Now we'll ask Isabella.
Good afternoon, family, friends, fellow Scouts, and guests. Standing here today as an Eagle Scout feels surreal. As most of you know, my journey in Scouting BSA didn't start until June of 2020. I was a Girl Scout in Troop 34 for 8 years, where we did Pinewood Derby races, glamping at Prairie Schooner, crafts, went on trips to Branson and Lawrence, other home ec activities, and many more. I left Girl Scouts behind because I wanted the adventures that came from the Scouting BSA program. If that was camping in tents, cooking our own food, or even shooting guns. After the Timberlake family campout, I was hooked. Literally, Dane's fishing hook cut me when he cast the line. It took some time for me to convince my brother to let me join the troop. Don't really know if I actually convinced him, but my parents and I told him this is how it was going to be from then on. I faced many challenges, such as packing wool socks on a winter campout in my brother's extra gear, only for him not to give them to me when I asked him not once, not twice, but 3 times. And freezing in the snow. Still kind of mad about that. Forgetting my motion sickness pills and barely making out of Joy's car before throwing up. Connecting a camp stove with Dane's help, only for it to flame up in my face, where I thought I was going to lose my eyebrows. And all keep in mind, this is my first winter camp out ever. It was pretty miserable. I definitely won't lie, but it makes a pretty good story. I had many adventures while being in Scouting BSA, getting stung by a wasp in the first time I used the shower trailers at Camp Bartle. Going Northern Tier, reaching the top of the rock wall at Camp YMCA, celebrating my birthday down at Camp Bartle, and an animal leaving holes in my camp t-shirt at Bartle and crying about it because it was the better color t-shirt. I would tell many more funny stories about myself, but I think there are too many. As most of you know, I'm a little bit of a klutz. The path to Eagle wasn't easy, and that's the point. It's supposed to challenge you and to help you learn from your shortcomings. And let me tell you, I had a lot of shortcomings, mostly from my SPL days, as I was still a relatively new scout myself. I was only in the troop for 6 months before I became SPL of Troop 6201. I had a hard time balancing learning new things and at the same time leading the other girls in the troop. I eventually figured out what I needed to do as in my SPL role and grew my leadership ability. I'm glad I had the environment to learn from my shortcomings and had a safe place to grow as a leader. I learned the importance of trying again because I wanted to be better for the younger scouts in the troop. But looking back on my path to Eagle, I realized I got exactly what I wanted from Scouting BSA, which was many great adventures and some interesting stories to tell. I like to take the time to thank a few people. I would like to thank my parents for driving me to the meetings every Monday and always helping me with any merit badge I needed, any guidance. I would also like to thank Mr. Mackmer for pushing me through the ranks, even if that meant meeting at a Starbucks and sitting out in the rain because we were still in COVID times. Also, Miss Holly for making me laugh and being there for another support system in the troop. Joy for always coming on the campouts and all the conversations in the car. Hopefully I wasn't too annoying and talking your ear off. But most importantly, I would like to thank my twin brother, Victor, for letting me join Scouting BSA. I know that scouting was your place, but I wouldn't be standing here to an Eagle Scout without you agreeing. And I would like to thank everyone else for coming today. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Isabella. And now we have Victor.
All right, first I'd like to thank everybody for taking time out of their day and being here. It means the world to me, and I'm sure it means the world to everybody else up here. I've always wanted to be a scout since I first found out about scouting. I remember sitting there, it was either kindergarten or first grade, and sitting there in the lunchroom, and scouts and adults from Pack 3316 came up and were talking to the boys about Boy Scouting. I knew from there I wanted to be a Boy Scout, and I joined right away. Soon it would be a Bobcat in Pack 3316, and I remember that every Tuesday after school and after going home and eating for a bit, I would get to return to Sunnyside Elementary to be with all my friends, participate in fun activities. I would then earn the rank of Tiger, getting to experience my first Pinewood Derby. Then I was a Wolf, winning my first Rain Gutter Regatta. I earned the rank of Bear and got to go to bear camp with my dad. I remember building a toolbox with him, learning to shoot a BB gun with him, and buying my first pocket knife at the trading post, along with several bags of Skittles. Eventually, I became a Weeblo and soon had my eyes fixed on the jump to Boy Scouting, where even more fun and adventures were to be had. I remember doing my Arrow of Light crossover, where I crossed over a wooden bridge with the Arrow of Light dancer ceremony and joined Troop 201. I had finally made it to the big leagues. I had heard from boys who used to be in Pack 3316 that Boy Scouting was way more fun than Cub Scouting, but it was hard for me to believe. I remember that within my first year, I got to learn how to shoot real guns, learned how to ski, kinda. Sorry, Mr. McNamara. I got to build my shelter and camp in it for the night. I learned how to throw tomahawks. I got to rappel off cliffs in Arkansas, and I met this bum named Chase. I had more fun than I had had ever in my life. Yes, there were some bumps in the road. Chase and I saw occasional flying sidekicks at the shower house at our first summer camp. Scouts searing their faces while metal working in their merit badges. We had our box raided by raccoons at summer camp. We made the unfortunate bacon weave, and I had a giant spar pole dropped on my head. Scouting had become my outlet for fun and a way for me to spend time with my dad while also unintentionally pushing myself to grow. Then the unthinkable happened. Some wise guy from headquarters got the idea to let girls join Boy Scouting, and I knew the gig was in. My sister had been a Girl Scout for several years by this point and had always wanted to also participate in real camping, shooting guns, cooking our food, and all the other adventures that came with Boy Scouting. I just had to hope that my parents or the other adults wouldn't tell my sister. It's like a little kid staying up past their bedtime watching TV with their parents. I sat really still and said nothing and hoped they wouldn't find out. Of course, that didn't happen. I can't remember exactly when it was, whether she came to a meeting or a camp out or Mr. Porter, Mr. McNamara advertising her, but somehow she found out and she made her way into Troop 6201. I was not thrilled. Scouting was my thing. It was my time with Dad, and it had been infiltrated by my twin sister. And to add insult to injury, all the adults who supported Isabella joining also the ones who allowed me to cross over. So my own friends had betrayed me. It took a couple months, but eventually I got used to it and would accept Isabella being in the troop. And not long after that, my best friend Timmy would join the troop. So in my mind, it was a wash. I would spend the next few years completing merit badges, climbing the ranks toward Eagle, and obtaining the rank of Brotherhood in Order of the Arrow, obtaining Hardwood Warrior and the Paint of Fire Builder in the Tribe of Mickasay, and I would earn the Ad Altaria Day Catholic Scouting Award with my twin sister. I would get to go on high adventure trips to the Continental Divide Trail in Colorado, summit Mount Elbert, and get to experience the highest order of scouting, Philmont Scout Ranch. Between these experiences and almost getting struck by lightning, learning how to use the trowel as I almost pooped myself coming down Mount Elbert, having to suffer the wrath of the burrito blanket and all the shenanigans that came with it, and experiencing a scenic mountain sunset with Timmy as we pooped back to back at Mount Baldy Base Camp. Scouting has brought me unforgettable memories and experiences. Now, my family's going to have to forgive me for this one. I'm kind of a one-trick pony. As I've reflected and written this speech, I'm reminded of a quote by Seneca the Younger, a famous Roman Stoic and scholar. That quote being, "If a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Seneca gives a very important commentary on the value, meaning, and direction in our lives. But I feel there's a very big component missing. Sure, if you have no direction in life, there is no favorable route for you to take. But in my mind, if a boat's hull is not built to sustain the sea, it will never reach its desired port. You see, had I not made my journey from Bobcat to Eagle, experiencing years of summer camps, high adventures, dealing with the heat, cold, humidity, snow, insects, the damn raccoons, the lightning, the nights out, and most of all, the fear of being away from my parents and the familiarness of home, I would not be who I am today. All four of us are at yet another crossroads in our lives. Just as we have summited one mountain, the next one has appeared, just like Mount Wrong. We have obtained the rank of Eagle, graduated from high school, and once again look into the unknown of college and adult life. This time, there is no formula for success. There are no ranks to climb, no belt loops or merit badges to earn, and no tribes to join. But this time, it is not as daunting, for I know, and I'm sure the other three up here on stage know, and all other scouters here in the room know, that if we do our best to do our duty to God and our country, if we are trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, if we help other people at all times, keep ourselves physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, there will be no sea we cannot cross, no mountain we cannot climb, and no task we cannot handle. I'd like to thank my mom and dad and my little brother for always supporting me, driving me to meetings, and pushing me to get my Eagle. I'd like to thank the troop for always pushing me to be my best and give a little extra. I'd like to thank Mr. Mulligan, Mr. Fagan, and Mr. Jarvis for being phenomenal Scoutmasters. I'd like to thank Mr. Porter, Mr. Drone, Mr. Petty, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Harvey, Mr. Grieve, Miss Holly, and Miss Joy for keeping me on the trail to Eagle. I'd like to thank Chase and Timmy for always being great friends and loyal scouts. And last, I would like to thank my twin sister. Thank you for joining Scouting. I'm glad I got to earn Eagle with you. It's been a treat to grow alongside you, and I know that I'm a better person because of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Sydney Whiteley will now give our benediction.
Please bow your heads. Our God, we have heard a lot today about character, persistence, courage, loyalty, cheerfulness, service, and setting an example for others. Lord, we admire these qualities, and we pray that they will serve Timmy Holmes, Chase Mulligan, Isabella Vaccaro, and Vincent Vaccaro well over their lifetimes. We know, Lord, that being an Eagle Scout is a lifelong responsibility. And we pray not only that these new Eagle Scouts will exemplify these qualities, but we ask that you use their lives to influence others to do the same. Amen.
Senior Patrol Leader Colby Jarvis will retire the colors.
Will the audience please rise? Scouts attention, color guard advance. Prepare to retrieve the colors. Retrieve the colors. Scout salute. Color guard return to post. Two. Audience, please be seated.
The purpose for which this Court of Honor was convened has now been concluded, and I hereby declare this Court of Honor adjourned. On behalf of Troop 6201 and 201, as well as the families, we'd like to thank you for coming and participating in this Eagle Court of Honor. I'd also like to recognize Miss Janet Walbert. Thank you for graciously volunteering to help with today's music. Let's give her a hand. If the audience can wait until the Eagle Scouts and their families leave the sanctuary before leaving. we've got some refreshments available across the hall. I invite you to please stay and congratulate our new Eagle Scouts. Thanks for coming.